out of 30. Let's talk about stress and how cortisol can wreak havoc on your hormones and cause hair shedding and hair loss. I know that this was a wake-up call for me. Cortisol is your body's main stress hormone, so it's really helpful short term, like in true fight or flight situations, but when it's constantly elevated, it can be elevated from daily stress, workouts, poor sleep, under eating. It causes a lot of problems. When cortisol is high for too long, it ends up stealing from other hormones. So your body is always going to prioritize stress survival over things like digestion, reproduction, and yes, ultimately hair growth. This is called the cortisol steal, or the pregnenolone steal. So high cortisol lowers progesterone and DHEA. If you watched my video yesterday, I talked about the adrenal glands and the functions of it and how important it is and the role that it plays. When high cortisol lowers these hormones, progesterone and DHEA, it ends up throwing off your estrogen and testosterone. That imbalance can show up such as like mood swings, fatigue. It can show up like irregular cycles, and yes, hair shedding, the dreaded hair shedding. Cortisol, ultimately what it does, it increases inflammation, and what that does specifically for your hair is going to shrink your hair follicles, which weakens the growth cycle, and it leads to thinning, especially around the temples and the crown. So if you're noticing things like that, pay attention, because this might be what's going on. And when cortisol spikes your blood sugar, that's going to trigger more insulin, which messes with your androgens like DHT. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of androgenic alopecia or female pattern baldness or male pattern baldness. That's just like too much DHT. And I'm sure if you guys are doing your research and stuff, you guys are seeing things and supplements that are like DHT blockers, and this is what we're talking about. So this is a major player in hair loss. When we have high cortisol and we have this imbalance, it's very important to get to the root problem, and this is just the first step. If your hair is falling out and you're doing all the right things, it might be time to check your hormones and not look at just the surface level, look at it deeper. Healing my stress responses and lowering my cortisol was the first real turning point for me. Like I said, I'm already 30 days in. This is the next 30 days. I'm going to be talking about the things that I've done that are working. I'm going to talk about the things that haven't been working and what tweaks I've had to make along the way. But it's just very important to understand what could be the cause of your possible hair shedding or your hormone imbalances. So yeah, follow along. I'll see you guys tomorrow.